Alright guys, welcome back to Module 4. We're going to be talking about cutting your script and the whole cutting process. Personally, I find the cutting process to be one of the most difficult processes, just because, especially as someone starting out, it's really hard to get in the feel for doing something that is very foreign, because a lot of people have performed before, but it's hard to cut. It's very difficult to cut scripts, but we're going to help you here at Step Forensics. So first, you take your piece and your piece of literature, and you want to start chunking the pages and chunking out the lines. But by that I mean so if you have a page and there's a lot of words on the page, just make a bracket around the words that you're writing or the words that you like in your performance, and you just go through the book and do that. You probably don't want to chunk more than 3,000 to 4,000 words, because then it's going to become more difficult to cut down and consolidate your performance into 10 minutes and approximately 1,200 word cutting, if it's that long. A lot of times it's less. Probably not going to be too much more than that. But when you're chunking, you want to really look for characters and who you want in your piece, or who you want to be in your performance, who you don't want to be in your performance. What scenes you want in your performance, what scenes you don't. A lot of times I find a problem to be, and in me, I do this when I chunk pieces, I sometimes over chunk, and you don't want to do that, because when you have your piece and you're like, oh, I fell in love with this piece, I really want to do this, really want to make it really great, and you can, but by falling in love with too much of what you want, it sometimes takes away when you're chunking, because you don't want to give it up when you're cutting. So try to be conservative when you're chunking, because you don't want to be in a tight spot after that. So then you get to your cutting, right? Actually, let me go back a second. So chunking, when you're done chunking, you want to type out your chunk. So you can do it the long way and just type every single word. But a lot of times you could take your iPhone or pretty much any cellular device nowadays and just click the microphone button in your notes or whatever, and then you could just speak the words, and then it'll just dictate it for you. And there might be a few mistakes, but you can go back and if it says something that clearly isn't supposed to be the word, you can just go back and fix that, and then it becomes a lot faster. There's another app, I believe, called LED Tools, if I'm not mistaken. And basically what that does is you take a picture of the page that you want to chunk, or the portion of your book that you want to chunk, and you just take a picture and it writes out all the words for you. And a lot of time I tried it and it didn't work that well for me, but I know a lot of people that it worked for, and so yeah, so that's really good, really helpful. So when you're cutting, you want to make sure that you're trying to maintain that narrative arc that we talked about in the last video. And so by that I mean you want to keep the message as a central point, and keep your characters at the central point, and maintain the flow of things that you want, and the flow of humorous, or the flow of a dramatic, or whatever type of performance you're looking for. And so when you're cutting, you really want to be careful. A lot of times in duo, because there's two people, it's hard to do those things, because there's two people and you have to make decisions between the two of you, and sometimes that becomes difficult. If you guys get in arguments, but it happens, it's okay, don't worry to disagree with each other, because you guys are looking for the best things. Just don't do anything too bad. But yeah, just make sure you're maintaining the climactic flow that we talked about in the last video. And lastly, with your characters, in dramatic performances, in dramatic duos rather, I would say there's more of a consistency to have two main characters, rather than where humorous duos might have more than that. So I would say that's something that you should kind of hone in on. If you're doing a dramatic duo, then aim for having two main characters. But if you have a humorous duo, you want to have a lot of like crazy characters and like a lot of different places, having a lot of different like jobs or whatever whatever the script has in store, then like you might want to limit yourself to like 4 or 5 characters with like 1 or 2 main characters, because you don't want it to get too hectic. Sometimes it gets hard to follow with like a lot of characters, like as an audience member or a judge. So you just want to keep that in mind when you're going through your cutting. But it is a difficult process, and I do wish you guys the best of luck.